We go already. You are looking live at Sold Out MetLife Stadium, where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants will be taking on the 0-16 Dallas Cowboys. Why the Dallas Cowboys 0-16? Because they suck. Welcome to the crowd. And hey, Jersey guys in the house already. All right. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time with me here this evening, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. Going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free. Fire away, throw it in the chat box. You should try to check on the chat box every 5 or 10 minutes or so. So as soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. And plus, also, instead of me just like rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or I think last time it was over an hour, it's good just to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free, fire away. So before we get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link in the description box takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one's called the Lawrence Taylor. And the third membership level I got is called the Gridiron. Each one's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I could use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified, and it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed, I greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And then finally, also in the description box, there's 2 Facebook links. The top one takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. Basically, and I say this in every video. Basically, my YouTube channel, my Facebook group, Facebook page, it's all called the same thing. That way, it dumbs it down for a moron like me. I don't, what's my YouTube channel called? Is my page called something different than the group? It's all called the same thing. It's like New York Giants, the Gridiron. Makes it nice and easy. What do we have? We have over 5,400 members in the group. It's really, really doing good. And basically what I do is after I get done going live, I'll spend like the next, after, done here, probably close to the next 2 hours, just putting stuff in the group here and in the page, which I'll go over in just a minute. And, I try to get at least 10 things in there every day. Now, since the season is upon us, I'm probably getting closer to 15 to 20 things every day in there, whether it's a video, a post, a picture, something showing some stats and a ball player. Maybe I might be sharing an article or something like that, making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys, which are my personal favorites, by the way. Right? It's a ton of stuff. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing, if I got internet access, there's stuff going in the group and the page every day. And if you become a member of the group, not only do I post stuff in there, but the members post stuff in there as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in there every day. And then also the second Facebook link takes you to my Facebook page. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a page. I'm the administrator, so I'm the only one that posts anything in there. But it's the same thing. Is with the group here. Once I get done going live, between the group and the page, I try to get at least 10 things in each one every day. But as I said, once again, the season is upon us here, so there's so much stuff going on. There's a ton of stuff that I'm adding in there every day. So I'm probably closer to like 20 things every day going in the page and in the group. And basically, it's the same thing. It might be a video, a stat, a post, a picture. I might share an article, something showing some stats on a ball player, something making fun of the Eagles or the Cowboys. There's a ton of stuff going in there. And I don't commingle this stuff. So basically, the stuff that I put in the page, I don't put in the group. Whatever I put in the group, I don't put in the page. I just try to keep the stuff separate. So like I said, if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member, there's a ton, darn near almost 365 of a ton of New York Giants information every day. But as I said, I always got my money back guaranteed. You can't please everybody. So if you go to the page and you like it and you follow it and you go to the group and you become a member. If you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back guaranteed. All right, all that stuff said and done and out of the way with. Well, the Giants, that practice squad, that ever-evolving, ever-changing practice squad, but it just might be ever-evolving and ever-changing every day from now to the rest of the season. It's absolutely nothing is settled. Absolutely nothing is, there's just, you're going to have guys getting cut. You have somebody get cut and then they bring them back 2 days later and, it's the way it is. And then also, unfortunately, when guys get absolutely the injuries start rolling around, that's when things even start taking even more shape. But the Giants, they just they added 2 guys. All right, I got to find them here. There we go. Now they let go of 2. Tyree Phillips and Jamon Green were terminated from the practice squad. Now, that doesn't mean that we'll never see him ever again. Certainly does not mean that. But it was weird. I was Tyree, I don't know, because he was a little dinged up. I don't know if that had anything to do with it at all. But, I remember Patty Traynor was talking about, it was a few weeks ago. He seemed like, he was, had a good shot at quite possibly becoming the lead man as far as with the swing tackle. Of course, that went to Matt Parrott. And of course, Jamon Green, the undrafted free agent out of Michigan. But as I said, once again, that does not mean we will never see these guys ever again. It certainly does not mean that. So what do we do in return? Well, we actually brought in a defensive back and a tackle. Well, actually, can't say, I don't want to say so much a tackle to replace Phillips. This guy is like, this guy, the last season, well, we'll get to him in a second. But I want to, let's see here. Where are we at here? There we go. Caleb Hayes. What did they say in this article about him here? There we go. Caleb Hayes, they brought in. He's 5'11", 194 pounds, was signed as a rookie free agent by Jacksonville on May 11th. He was waived on Tuesday. Hayes began his college career at Oregon State before playing his final 2 seasons at Brigham Young, where he played in 24 games, had 20 starts in 2021 and 2022, and he totaled 67 tackles, 47 solo, and had 19 pass breakups. Not too shabby, not too shabby. Once again, it's all I'm going by. I'm not going to say, I checked out his film, watched all his film in college. Yeah, guy's pretty good. Yeah, no, I'm not going to say that. So I go to PFF here, right? What we got here? He must have been injured in 2019. I didn't look at like Wikipedia or not like that or whatever, because he played in a grand total of 9 snaps in 2019 for Oregon State. His rookie season at Oregon State was 2018, playing 615 snaps. That's not too shabby if he's a freshman, right? Easy. Well, let's see here. Let me do some changing here. So we're at 2018. All right, here we go. 2018, Oregon State. He was there. Oh, well, he played right and left cornerback for Oregon State in his freshman season. He graded out overall 68. Not too shabby. The first game basically looked like I guess the first game of his career was against Ohio State, at Ohio State. So Oregon State at Ohio State. He graded, it looks like his first game ever. He graded out a 62.2. He played in 73 snaps. So didn't grade out too bad. Let's see. They played Stanford. They played Washington. Washington. They played USC, Colorado, Cal, Washington State, Oregon, Arizona State. So they played, and Ohio State. So they played obviously some top talent there. And he graded out overall as a 68 his freshman season at Oregon State. So then in 2019, it said he played in a grand total of 9 snaps. So he must have had some type of injury. 2020, whoops. I'm sorry, 2020. He must have missed the whole. Let me check this dude out. Caleb Hayes must have been a bad injury. Caleb, let's see here or something. Let's see if it has anything on Wikipedia here. Maybe not. Does he have a Wikipedia? Usually somebody's got Wikipedia. Because he only played in, I guess maybe not. Well, let me type that in. Because he played in, nope. Well, let's see. Maybe ESPN. Nah. Nope. Because he played in 9 snaps in 2019, and he didn't play in 2020 at all. So he must have had some type of something going on there. So I can't really find out. It really doesn't have much of a, versatility. He doesn't have much of a nothing on. I can't find anything on Wikipedia, but he missed the whole 2020 season. Now, it could have been COVID as well, too. That's possible. Because here on PFF, in 2019 at Oregon State, he played 9 snaps. 2020, nothing. Now, maybe it was COVID related. That's a possibility. But in 2021 and 2022, he played with Brigham Young. So, 2021, he looks like he played in almost every game for Brigham Young. He graded out a 71.8. Not too shabby. Once again, this is all PFF. That's all I'm going by. He played against Arizona, Utah, Arizona State, University of South Florida, Utah State, Boise State, Baylor, Washington State, Virginia, Idaho State, Georgia Southern, USC, and University of Alabama, Birmingham in a bowl game. And he graded out a 71.8. All right, that was his junior season. Now, the last season, actually, this college season is already underway. It's hard to believe. In 2022, he played against University of South Florida, Baylor, Oregon, Utah State, Notre Dame, Arkansas, Liberty, East Carolina, Boise State, looks like Utah, Stanford, and SMU. He graded out a 62 overall. He played in 546 snaps. This past season, his junior season, he played 627 snaps. So looks like he does pretty good at tackling. His coverage grade was a 62 this past season. So, I mean, it's going to be some depth. I'm not sure, what they're seeing in him that they're not seeing in Jamon Green. He played left cornerback and right cornerback this past season for Brigham Young. So, I guess, versatility. Right. Right cornerback and left cornerback. He played left corner. His junior season, he played 1 game at left cornerback. Everything else was right cornerback. But looks like he can play him either or. So I'm not sure what they're seeing him wanting to get rid of Jamon Green and bringing Caleb Hayes in. But then once again, it doesn't mean Caleb Hayes won't be gone tomorrow either. Right. It's the ever revolving, practice squad. So. All right, then we got the other guy, because I talked about the other guy, like Mayfield, offensive lineman, then Jackson, the guy's 6'7". They wound up getting him played from the Eagles in Houston, the wide receiver who played 2 games with the Cowboys last season. He caught 2 passes the opening day game against Tampa Bay, in which they lost, and then he basically was on the practice squad the rest of the year. But they wound up bringing in Thomas. Let's see, Jalen Thomas. He's 6'3", 311 pounds. Is an undrafted rookie. Now, this guy's talking about versatility. Check this guy out. 6'3", 311 pounds. Is an undrafted rookie who was with the Baltimore Ravens from May 18th until Tuesday. He played all 5 offensive line positions at SMU, and he did that last year. All 5. Where he appeared in all 52 games with 48 starts in 5 seasons. Yeah, he's got 5 seasons under his belt as well, too. As a sophomore in 2019, he started all 13 games at left tackle. So let's go over this dude. Jalen Thomas, 6'5", 311 pounds, SMU. He played for SMU in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. 2019, he played in over 1,000 snaps. But last season, right? This is 2022 I'm looking at here, right? Yeah, okay. Last season, the first 4 games of the season against North Texas, against Lamar, Maryland, and TCU, he played left guard. University of Central Florida, he played at right tackle. Then the following week against Navy, he played at left tackle. The following week against Cincinnati, he played at right tackle. This is where it gets cool. The following week against Tulsa, he played at center. The following week against Houston, he went back to right tackle. Then against University of South Florida, he played right guard. Then he played the following week at Tulane, he played left guard. And then he went back to right guard again for Memphis. So, I mean, he went from 1, 2, 3, 4, last 5 games. He went from center to right tackle to right guard to left guard to right guard. I mean, wow. Wow. And he graded at 76.9. The guy was all over freaking offensive line, and he graded out a 76.9 for SMU. Not too shabby. Actually, his third season, I mean, he played 5 seasons, so I can't really go freshman, sophomore, junior, I mean, maybe his fifth year, but his third season with SMU, he graded out 87.3. I mean, wow. I mean, what did he play? Let's see. So that was 2020. So in 2020, he played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He played 9 games, but all left tackle for SMU. All left tackle his third season. He graded out 87.3 overall. So pretty doggone good. Yeah, so he's got some versatility to him. So let's see, it's his 4th season. When did he play his 4th season? Anything? He was left guard and left tackle. So only this past season, his 5th season, he played every position on the line, even center. So, I mean, that's some freaking versatility for you right there. So, I'll have to keep an eye out on him. Jalen Thomas, keep an eye out on him. Because, I mean, if we needed somebody, some swing guys or something like that. What's going on, guys? Simmons and Boogie were the big additions to preseason. Everything else is great. Oh, yeah. So keep an eye on Thomas. I mean, that guy's got some flexibility to him, right? Big guy, so he apparently can play almost anywhere. So, all right. Then I seen this article talking about Joe Schoen. It says here, 4 reasons Joe Schoen is becoming the best GM in the NFL. Oh, I don't know. Who is this here? G-Man HQ. Jackson Boland. Looks like he wrote this article. I think we need to I'm all for that and being the best GM, but we're barely into his 2nd season here. So we need to start pulling back on the reins a little bit on that. But it says he has 4 reasons here. One is the youth movement for the New York Giants. For the first time in a long time, you won't hear many Giant fans complaining about the past 2 drafts. Nope, absolutely not. Why is that? A competent front office is actually addressing team needs. Kayvon Thibodeau headlined the 2022 draft, and he did so in a big way. Thibodeau finished his rookie season tallying 49 tackles, 6 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and a 4th place finish in the Defensive Rookie of the Year voting. The other rookie standout was Daniel Bellinger, who counted for 30 catches and 2 touchdowns in just 12 games, not to mention Cordell Flott, Evan Neal. But I also heard, too, I think it was what do they have? 17 or 18 picks in the somebody brought this up. Out of his 17 or 18 picks, they had the past 2 seasons, right? 10 was this, maybe 17? And 7, maybe 17. I think like 16 of them are on the team still. I mean, that's unbelievable. out of the drafts he's had the past 2 seasons, there's only one of them's not on the team. I think on the team. I think they were referring to Beavers is on the practice squad. Everybody else is on the team. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, you take like whatever it was, I think 17 or 18 draft picks and every one of them is on the team except for one, and Beavers is on the practice squad. Yeah, I mean that's pretty remarkable. That's pretty doggone remarkable. Let's see here. Then we got the 2023 draft, basically a perfect showcase for Shane. He traded up to get his guy Deonte Banks in the first round. Of course, John Michael Schmitz, Jalen Hyatt. So, I mean, so far, I mean, his drafts have been like, just, knocked them out of the park so far. Absolutely. Absolutely. Is their number 3 reason here is he brilliant trades this offseason. Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. Let's start with the Isaiah Simmons trade. Shane and the New York front office only had to give up a 7th-round pick to land a former first-rounder and give up a 7th-round pick for the former 8th overall pick in the draft, and it's only going to cost them $1 million this season. I mean, it puts a little pressure on him, a little pressure to sign him next season, because it's like, why did you give up? I mean, unless he totally bombs, it does put a little pressure on you to make sure you sign him for next season, because it's like, what did you give up a 7th-round pick for if you're just going to let him walk? You know what I mean? So, but, I mean, hey, they're going to sign him for next season or a couple seasons, something like, I'm all for it. I mean, the guy looks like a stud. If you can put the guy in the right system, give him some right coaching and all of that. Oh yeah. No, I'm excited about seeing I'm excited about seeing number 19 on the field actually flying around and making some plays, unlike the last guy we had who's number 19. Oh my goodness. That is a total steal, and it's moved that the Big Blue Nation is fired up. Simmons figures to step up and push for a starting job at middle linebacker next to Bobby Okereke. Man, I said this, I don't know, it was the last, the last video I did or whatever. I mean, the putting him on the field with Bobby Okereke, the speed there, holy cow. Wow. Oh my God. The best part, that wasn't even the best trade this offseason. Of course, let's not forget, back in March, we all got the alert the Giants had traded for Darren Waller. As always, it's what did we give up? And it was the 3rd-round pick, and it was the pick that the G-Men got for the Kadarius Toney trade. Another sensational move. So basically, we traded Kadarius Toney, and we got Darren Waller. I'll take that. Waller really turns heads in the preseason game for the Panthers, holding in 3 of 4 targets. He had the 4th one and just got jarred loose. Couldn't quite hold on to it. He has the potential to be a stud in this offense. Let's not forget about the Basham deal. Yep. As it has brought in pass rush depth. Yeah, so now you figure, Basham is certainly some depth at the edge. You can't really say Isaiah Simmons is depth at the edge because he's a little light, as they say, light in the pants, shall we say, at the edge. So he's not like an edge rusher. You'll put him maybe on the edge right next to Azeez, right? And then they're like, oh man, are both these guys coming? Yeah, right. Put him next to Kayvon or whatever, right? So you might have, whatever, Kayvon and Isaiah on the one edge there, and they're like, "Oh man, who's coming? Are they both coming? One going to drop, one going to come. Who's I mean, so see, Waller turned heads in the preseason. He's the potential to be a stud. Let's not forget about the Basham deal. Yeah, so Basham, give you some depth at the edge, right? Something the Giants certainly needed. That's for sure. Then their number 2 reason, getting things done with key playmakers. Big question for the Giants this offseason was centered around the plan for Daniel Jones. That question was answered. Jones got a deal, 4 years, 160. Yep, Danny Dimes landed the monster payday, and now the pressure is on for him to step up. The initial number is far from the whole story. Jones is making that $40 million a year salary, but because Shane is a wizard, there's a team option after year 2. So if something, whatever, goes south, let's hope not, but, they can get out after 2 years. I mean, I know that there's a lot of the moron, idiotic moron. Well, let me say it one more time for the hearing impaired. Those moron Eagle fans. Like the Giants group. Sometimes I'll post stuff up there. I saw a lot of stuff like after Jones got signed for his contract and all that. And a lot of them, one more time, the moron Eagle fan, they were making fun out of it because they were showing like how much guaranteed money was owed to Daniel Jones right away and all that stuff. And they're like circling the money. Look at all the money you owe him. You know what I mean? But what once again, the morons don't understand is we can get out of it after, a couple years, 2 years if need be, which is what you really want to do. Unlike what they do with Jalen Hurts, I think they just they kicked a bunch of money down the road or something like that. But you guaranteed money is Jalen is like 180 or 90 million dollars or something ridiculous. So just something unbelievably ridiculous. Sooner or later you got to pay him. May not be all this year or whatever, but but the Giants can get out after 2 years. The Eagles can't. The Eagles will be paying Jalen Hurts for quite some time. So if something goes south, it's like the Bobby Bonilla deal. The Mets are still paying Bobby Bonilla for the next 300,000 trillion years. They pay him like $1 million or $2 million a year. It's going to be what it was like with the Jalen Hurts deal. They owe him guaranteed money, and they're going to be owing it for quite a while. So, he started, oh, yeah, was the hiring. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it just seemed like, it's nice because they both came from Buffalo, Now, obviously, it's good and bad because, it's you like to get that diversity, where you're, you got some different points of view. Because you don't want everybody coming from Buffalo to come to the Giants because you only have the one point of view, So something so it works out something. Maybe if you got the GM from Buffalo, but you get the coach or somebody that comes from the 49ers or like Kafka from the Chiefs. So you got so if Kafka was the coaches, so you got a couple different points of view. So sometimes it works out good, sometimes it doesn't, because But it's so far it's really working out great. I mean, Shane and Dable and they're just like they're like they're like almost like one mind. I mean, it's like Dable's got a problem or something. Shane needs to know. Shane will know about it. Shane's thinking about something. Dable knows about and then there's no keeping secrets or nothing like that. I mean, like this bull crap that like Jerry Jones. I mean, I kind of heard like he traded for Trey Lance, and he didn't discuss it with McCarthy or anything like that. I mean, he just made a trade. Yeah, it's a big deal. I mean, it's like with Shane and Dable, they're doing one thing. If one guy knows it, the other guy knows it. They all nobody's keeping secrets. I mean, Shane's just not going to go out. I picked this guy up for you. Is that okay? You don't mind, right? I mean, what a, oh my God, what a, oh man, good old Jerry Jones. Gotta love him. Let's see here. And of course, getting things done with key playmakers. You talk about the extension with Dexter Lawrence, Andrew Thomas. Those two guys are some of the best in the respective positions in the entire league. Jones gets a security blanket for his foreseeable future. Also, then at least they got Saquon back for this 1 year, right? So the whole saga could be another blog in itself, but this is the main takeaway. So Shane and Barkley couldn't agree on extension. There was plenty of worry that number 26 would be a holdout in the regular season, but right, Shane stood firm, and Barkley ended up signing an adjusted franchise tag, so that's cool. And with any luck, maybe he might get close to $11 million, but he's guaranteed 10.1 for this season. Now, Patty Traynor was also talking about, like Xavier McKinney kind of being a little maybe a maybe a little upset or something like that, that maybe something hasn't worked, like extension with him at all or anything like that. But Patty Train also kind of pointed out that a lot of times, or almost all the time, if the coaches are going to do something with a player and do something like an extension, give a guy some extra years or whatever, because it's his fourth season, right? So you can do something. Usually, I mean, it's got to be a win-win. Meaning, what she's talking about was it's got to be a win-win. Meaning, if you're going to give Xavier an extension, right, that will make him happy. But it's got to be the win-win. Meaning that it also has to be a win for the team. Now, what she said is that, like, almost no team is going to make any kind of a contract extension or something like that if it also doesn't benefit the team, meaning if it doesn't benefit them maybe in some way with the salary cap this season. Now McKinney's only due like a couple $1 million this year. Because why? Well, because he's a second-round pick. So he's not getting paid first-round money. So there's not much, if the Giants were to extend him or anything like that. Usually they try to do that and maybe drop his cap hit down, so to save some salary cap money so they can go out and get somebody else, another player. But they really can't do that with him. There's really not a lot of money there for them to, finagle around with to save a lot of cap space. So that she was pointing out, that's one of the reasons why that they may not be doing anything with McKinney this season, well, right now. But also they want to see, can the guy stay healthy? Because his first season, it was his foot. I think he missed the first, 5-6 weeks, whatever it was of his rookie season, because he broke his foot. And then he came on, he had a nice rookie season, nothing phenomenal. It was nice. Second season was very good. But then last season he had the accident with his hand. Can he stay healthy? How is his hand? Right? And also, as I said, if they're doing any type of extension or anything like that, it really wouldn't wind up benefiting the team, especially as far as with the salary cap. So, because he's not really making a lot of money. They could do something like with Andrew Thomas. Why? Because he was a first-round pick. He's making some money this year. So, they can maybe get something off of his, where they could save some money this year maybe toward the salary cap if need be. Same thing with Sexy Dexy, right? They could drop his cap hit down a little bit so they can save some money toward the cap, but they can't really do that much with McKinney. And then again, the last thing, putting together the right coaching staff. Yeah, this seems to be huge here. Absolutely huge. I mean, because if you got the right players and this, that, and but you got the wrong coaches. If you got the right coaches but the wrong players, yeah, that's not a good recipe either. You gotta, it's you got to marry them. It's got to be a good marriage there. And they said all of these moves Shane has made have been great, but they all mean nothing if he gets one move wrong, meaning the coach. A week after Shane was hired, he named Brian Daboll the head coach in charge. Giants fans were still a bit sore from the previous reigns of Joe Judge, Pat Shurmur, and Ben McAdoo. Oh, my God. All you think of is 2-2-2. I mean, when you got three coaches in a row, go 2-2-2, 2 years. Well, actually, McAdoo wasn't even 2 years. That's how good he was. So we didn't know how this was going to go. All we knew was that this was Shane's guy. In hindsight, this should have been the eye-opener to Shane's tenure as GM. When Shane gets his guy, he's usually right. So, so there's a formula out there, and if you follow the formula, it's kind of like with the draft picks, if this is what we're looking for, right? And obviously it's not 100%, guaranteed to work out on draft picks, but it seems like he's working out pretty well so far. I mean, I really don't know many moves he's made that really haven't worked out too well. So he does seem to have a successful formula. It says Daboll established a coaching staff of Mike Kafka, an offensive coordinator, and Wink Martindale as defensive coordinator. Coaching seems to matter a little bit in the NFL. The coaching staff got every ounce out of the 2022 roster. Yes, it did. Absolutely. A roster that was widely regarded as below average, ending up making the playoffs and taking down the 13-win Vikings in the NFC wildcard round. season ended there, but one thing is for sure, the Giants are no longer a laughingstock in the NFL. Schoen laid the groundwork with his hires, and he's putting the pieces together with his acquisitions. And don't forget about Brandon Brown either. I mean, that dude's a future GM walking right there. I mean, that's a good young guy to have on your side as well, too. The Giants are in good place, and now they have arguably the best GM in the league to thank. Well, hey, man, I'm all for that. You know, it's a little early to say he's the best GM, but, hey, I'm fine for that. For a young – oh, yeah. I mean, you know, yeah, he's you know, I mean, I can't say maybe he's batted 1,000 at everything or whatever, but, you know, I mean, he's, you know, there's not much to really complain about. You know, it's just – yeah, I mean, because sometimes you know, like, well, you know, Gettleman, right? You know, he drafted Daniel Jones. Well, you know, people were, you know, bashing him for that. Well, Daniel Jones don't look too bad now. He drafted Andrew Thomas. Andrew Thomas didn't look too good as rookie season. You know, so he did. You know, he drafted some. You know, we got Saquon. You know, so he got some. You know, draft. You know, but you know, so he hit a couple home runs, but then he also struck out. He struck out. You know. You know, but I mean with Schoen, you know, he's batting maybe not 1,000, but he's batting really good. I mean, he's really going good. So whatever he's doing, you know, if you just keep doing it, right? There's a formula for success out there. Just keep doing it. So you got to feel good. You know, you're in good hands with Joe Schoen. So that's good. Unlike you know, like I said, Dave Gettleman didn't botch up everything, just seemed that way. But, you know, he made some good moves, but he made a lot of bad ones. So, oh, yeah. Dave was, oh, yeah. I mean, what I'm saying, yeah, exactly. I mean, he was at the, he swung at everything. So he either swung and connected, or he swung and spun around 35 times and fell and landed on his butt because he missed. You know what I mean? So it was like one or the other, you know. Yeah. All right. What we got? Oh, it's coaching, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, Shermer and then Judge. I mean, oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness. And then how about this here, huh? How about this? Mike Evans, anyone, huh? Oh, yeah. I've seen about 3,000 articles from Mike Evans. Big Blue View. I got this article from Big Blue View. Who wrote this here? Ed Valentine. Star wide receiver Mike Evans and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could be headed for a parting of the ways if the Buccaneers decide to trade the 30-year-old. Should the Giants be among the teams interested? 6'5", 231 pounds. Evans has made it Pro Bowl 4 times in the This is ridiculous. This is absolute. I looked at this. I was like, this is freaking crazy. He surpassed 1,000 yards receiving every one of his seasons. I mean, if you look at it, one of his seasons he had 1,001 yards. What was it? 2017, he had 1,001 yards. But every season, what was it? 15. 2019, he played in only 13 games, but he still had 1,157 yards. So in his 9 seasons, he has 10,425 yards. He has 683 receiving. Let's see, 68, is that it? 67. 67 is his lowest amount of receptions in a season, and 1,001 yards in 2017 was his fewest receiving yards. I mean, you figure, whatever. You twist your ankle, you miss 4 or 5 weeks or something, whatever. There goes your 1,000-yard season. You have a horrible offense. There goes your 1,000-yard season. You got a horrible quarterback, whatever. There goes your 1,000-yard season. I mean, you need so much to go right. So much to go right. For 9 straight seasons at over 1,000 yards receiving. That is freaking crazy. But I'm saying, but his durability. So wait, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's missed 9 games in 9 years. 9 freaking games. He's missed 1 game a season for 9 years. That is bananas. That is absolutely freaking crazy what a iron warhorse that guy is. Wow. I mean, the thing, let's see, he had 96 receptions in 2016, but he's not the guy who's going to get you 185 receptions in a season or, 120 or 110. I mean, but, count the dude in. They'll line up on Sunday. I'm talking about, 1,000 yards every season. Wow. I mean, holy cow. Let's see. While the Giants do have a talent and depth at wide receiver and tight end Darren Waller as their number one receiving option, they still do have question marks at the receiver position. Well, Paris Campbell, Sterling Shepard, and Wan'Dale Robinson have injury histories. Yes, they do. Isaiah Hodgins has never proven what he can do over a full season. Well, that's because he's never played a full season. He only played half a season last year, and he did pretty good, according to this article. I'm saying he did pretty good. And if you saw his ankle looked like in the playoff game against the Vikings, his ankle looked like it was a pumpkin or a purple pumpkin. It was all swollen and, discolored and everything like that. And he had a great game. Jalen Hyatt is a rookie who had an impressive preseason, but has never caught a regular season pass. That's true. Cole Beasley is on the practice squad, but he's 34 and has been battling injuries this summer. And, they don't bring up Darius Slayton either. But Evans would immediately become the best pure wide receiver on the Giants roster. Oh, yeah. Whew. Former Giants, this is funny. Former Giants Plexico Burris thinks the Giants should be all in to get Evans. And Evans was on the Carton show. And he was talking about back when I played, we used to actually have giants on the field. He's saying, I'm 6'5" or 6 or whatever he is. He's like, back then we used to actually have some guys who were tall. I mean, now they got these guys. He's holding his hand out. He's like, we got guys now like 5'8", 5'9", and everybody on the show is laughing. They're like, get these. He's like, get this guy in here. Yeah, that's funny. GM Joe Schoen has been aggressive in trying to upgrade the roster. He traded a third-round pick to get the Chiefs, for Waller, right? He recently dealt late-round picks to get Isaiah Simmons and Boogie Basham, right? The price for Evans would seem likely to be closer to or more than the price for Waller. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, well, I mean, a third-rounder. I mean, because, this is his 10th season. Not that he has injury histories or nothing like that, but it's just, and he's going to cost you a lot of money. So I can see maybe a third rounder. If the Bucs don't reach a long-term deal and put him on the market, should Shane pick up the phone and try to bring Evans to East Rutherford? Well, I mean, I said his stats are just absolutely ridiculous, absolutely crazy. He's 30 years old. Okay. But his, let's say that price is high for a 10-year vet. Also, I think he's like, I had it. Where I have it? The Buccaneers. Did I get the Buccaneers? Is that them? Nope. I had somewhere along the line. I got 75 million tabs open here. I'll probably never find it. Maybe maybe I closed out of it. I guess that's a possibility too. Bill Porter, Mike Evans. Oh wait, is that it? Oh yeah. Here we go. Yeah, he's making $23 million toward the about $23.7. So I mean, so he's getting paid. It's not like I deserve more or something like that. I mean, if you look at that, he's only making $23.7. You got some of these guys making a little bit more. So I mean, he should. But he's 30 this year. So if I don't know if the Giants are bringing him in this year. He's a restricted free agent after this season. So that would be the interesting thing. I mean, because if Tampa Bay, Tampa Bay are they? I think they're like in a just like a rebuild mode. Do they want to go ahead with it? After this season and write a contract, for say 2 or 3 seasons for a guy that's going to be 31, 32, 33 years old, or do they just want to kind of start scrapping things and start bringing in some younger guys? Is Bowles going to cut him? I don't know. I mean, what I heard is that they didn't reach an agreement, and they're trying to they're just not going to sometimes they just try to scrap that kind of stuff. Well, we're not doing it during the season. We don't want to start I don't know. So they were talking about maybe just not doing it, maybe getting it done after the season or something, but you don't know. Price seems to. I'm saying, he's going to be paying. Well, he's getting almost $24 million, so he obviously wants another contract. But then the thing is with the Bucs is like, if they, do they want to just kind of scrap everything, or do they think they're going to be able to contend for a Super Bowl? If you don't think you can contend for a Super Bowl, why are you going to bring back a 31-year-old guy you're going to have to pay maybe $20 to $25 million for if he's only going to be there for, But, so if you don't think you can get that, you want to get something for him. So instead of just letting him after this season, right, and then he just goes away, right, and you get nothing, well, why not trade him and get a third-round pick for him? Maybe, I don't know what they would want for him, a second or third. You're not getting him in the first round, but so why not? If you're not going to keep, if he's not in your long plan, future plans, if you're going to trade him, get something for him instead of at the end of the season. Just I don't. Well, God, I don't even know who's going to win the South. Between the Falcons and the Saints and the Bucs. I don't know who's going to win that division. They think they can win it with 9. Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's possible. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like what the Bucs did last year. Did they have 8 wins or 9 wins last year? Maybe they were 9 and 8 or 8-9, whatever it was. But first round of the playoffs, what happens? At home, what happened? They got smoked. So the same thing happened this year. Right. So if something happens, they wind up winning with 9, instead of go 9 and 8. Are they going to beat San Francisco? Are they going to beat the Eagles? Are they going to beat the Cowboys in the playoffs? They couldn't beat the Cowboys last year. Todd Ball. He's a good defensive mind, but I don't know. He didn't have a whole lot of success with the Jets, but we'll see. We'll see. But as I said, but if they don't think he's in the long-term future, trade him now and get rid of him. The thing would be is that the Giants would have to, because they don't have a lot of salary cap space. Patty Traynor today, I was listening to her, she said, I think the Giants have like $5 million going into the season. So it ain't a lot, so it would have to wind up being where they would have to trade a good pick, and it would have to be like, okay, Tampa, you pay salary. We'll give you 2. If you pay his whole salary this season, we'll give you 2. Because the Giants can't say, oh, well, we'll take him, we'll trade you a third or 4, whatever, and we'll pay his salary. You can't do that because they don't, unless they, maybe they bring him in and they sign into some type of an extension, a long-term deal, and they can take his cap hit and bring it way down somehow. Stand pat, let's go. Well, I think that's what they're going to wind up doing because it's like, in a way, it's good and bad because you don't know what you have. We don't know what you have with Hyatt. You think and it could be really freaking special, right? And same thing with Hodgins. He only played half a season, but he seemed to be pretty good there. So I don't know if they're going to try to upset the apple cart. I don't know if they really need. To bring somebody else in. I think I can see him staying put. He's a tempting player. Oh yeah. Oh yes. That's 6'5" every year. He's 1,000-yard. Man, could you imagine him? As I said, it's not like you're getting him, and it's like what you're saying with Waller. It's like, Waller. And the first thing that comes out of your mouth, if he can stay healthy. Watch out. You don't say that with Evans. It's like Evans, there ain't none of this if he can stay healthy. He stayed healthy. It doesn't mean he won't get hurt, but 9 seasons, the most he's missed I think was 3 games in the season. He's missed 9 games in 9 years. Talk about dependability. That's pretty dependable. Well, hey, stranger things happen. Who knows, right? As of right now, because, we got whatever, the six on the roster. We got Cole Beasley. But I'm saying, with the Giants and the word injuries, they just kind of lock things. They kind of like, they kind of, hey, how you doing? We're the Giants. Hey, how you doing? We're injuries. How you doing? Oh, we're doing good. Hey, we're going to be long friends. We're going to be really good friends. Got another season coming up? Yeah. Whoa, we're going to be good friends. Oh, yeah. You know what I mean? So, especially the Giants and receivers, what do they got in common? Injuries, right? So, I said that with Cole Beasley, he's had some injuries this season. He's 34. Shep gets injured. Seems like every year. Wan'Dale Robinson, he caught his first pass last season from 5 yards against Tennessee. He missed a couple games. Then he get injured against Detroit. He was out. Paris Campbell gets injured. So they got the guys they got on the roster right now, and even Cole Beasley. You look at the seven, right, between Hyatt, Hodgins, Slayton, Paris Campbell, Wan'Dale Robinson, Sterling. Is that seven? What am I talking? Whatever. And then Cole Beasley. You don't have an ABCD Lamb. You don't have a Brown. You don't got maybe a Jamar Chase. There's none of that. Okay, but you look at those guys. It's like that's not too bad. But the problem is that if a couple guys start getting injured. What happens if Shepard gets injured again, right? Then you bring Cole Beasley in, and what happens if somebody, so it's it's just something interesting to talk about. That always happens every time anyway. So as soon as somebody gets cut, should the Giants pick them up? I always see articles for that all the time. If the price was right, I could say Shane making them. Well, I said the thing is it's like he's like making 23.7. I think somebody's got to pay it. So you can do one thing. You can call them up and say, I guess just throwing it out there. We'll give you 2 if you pay a salary, or if you pay whatever, 15 million of it or something or whatever. If we got to pay it, I'm sure Shane could work some magic somehow and get it in there. But if we got to pay it, we're going to give you 3 or 4, whatever. But hey, I'm sure he's making a call. It doesn't mean it's going to work out, but I'm sure I'm sure he's making a call, because you never know how desperate Tampa Bay is. You don't know, right? And then we saw this good old Mr. Bill Parcells. Man just gives and gives and gives, huh? Bill Parcells has lent out $4 million to former Giants players in financial crisis. So I said, and I saw the article. I'm like, is it $4 million? I was like, well, he played. Okay, he played. When he was the coach of the Patriots, he was coach of the Jets, the Cowboys, and he was coach of the Giants. So I guess between all of those, okay, I guess maybe he gave out $4 million to the. He lends the money out, but he doesn't ever expect to get it returned. But apparently, it's just Giant players he's giving this money to. It says, beneath Bill Parcells' gruff exterior, there exists a teddy bear. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Without question. Inside, abso-freaking-lutely. Without a freaking question. Absolutely. Inside, he's heart of a champion. Heart of a Giant, shall we say, right? Longtime New York area sports scribe Gary Myers has a book coming out about the Super Bowl champion 1986 Giants, entitled Once a Giant, A Story of Victory, Tragedy, and Life After Football. Myers went to WFAM's Boomer and Geo Friday morning with Jerry Recco and Joe Benigno filling in, and spoke about how Parcells has been a financial lifeline as of last resorts for upwards of 20 of his former players. Some guys, whatever, I need this, or they're going to take my house or something like that, or whatever. You know what I mean? People are going to find out how Bill Parcells has made his transition from a guy who had hate. Yes, he did. Love-hate relationships with his players to the patriarch of that 86 team. Now that Wellington Mara has been gone for a while, and Bill has had his 82nd birthday recently, Myers said. Yep. It was about a week or so ago, a couple weeks ago, I think it was. Myers continued with specific figures of the part of Bill Parcells. It is just incredibly generous what he's done with these guys. He has loaned out $4 million to 20 players that played for him who came to him in this financial crisis. Bill knows when they come to him, it's a last resort, Myers said. So it's like, at all cost, he's like the final, if you're backed in the corner, right, and you have no place else to go, right, and you need whatever, 50,000, 100,000 or whatever, something to save your house or to pay some bills off something, that's who you go to. I said to him, Bill, $4 million, you don't expect anybody to pay you back. Why are you doing that? And he said, these guys have sacrificed so much for me and their bodies and their commitment. Myers explained that Parcells has established something of a fund to help out the people who have stayed close to him. Let's see here. He's put away money he needs for the rest of his life. He's given money to his kids, and what he has left, he's designated to help those close to him who need it. I think it's unprecedented, Myers said. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever heard of a coach giving out $4 million to other players? Maybe some, sure, coaches have helped players out, but, I've never heard of $4 million to 20 different. He's not going to get any of that money back. They're not, it's a loan, but he's never going to get any of it back. So I don't think I know of any other coach who sits down and writes checks to his former players who are really in financial need. It's really a cool story. Yes, it is. For this book, Myers interviewed a wide range of figures, including Parcells, Bill Belichick, Lawrence Taylor, Mark Bavaro, Carl Banks, and Phil Simms. So just goes to show you, maybe whatever you want to call it. Once a giant, always a giant or something. But, oh, yeah, what do we got? Yeah, does he? He's showing Oshane Underground. Oh, that's right. I can see Shane making them the tuna. Once a giant, always a giant. Oh, yeah. But it just goes to show you, maybe hear sometimes him talking or something. What, he said guys still call him. He's like, yeah, I mean, but if you look also, there's he gets guys and they follow him from one team to the next. I mean, he had Vinny Testaverde, I think was with the Jets. He had him when he was with the Cowboys. Some guys, he had with the I think Dave Meggett went to the Patriots after he left the Giants. He went to the Patriots. A lot of guys. I mean, I'm too stupid to remember all of them, but if you start looking up, I mean, there's guys, it's like, because he knows what he can get out of these guys, right? And, he knows what they did for him. I mean, they're putting their freaking lives on the line. And he realizes, as some of these coaches should, that they wouldn't be or won a Super Bowl or whatever if it wasn't for these players. You can teach them till they're blue in the face, but if they don't do what you tell them, you're not winning a Super Bowl. So you got to realize that he won Super Bowls because of these guys. And as I said, they sacrificed their lives, their bodies. I mean, one injury can ruin your career. So you go out there and you play a couple plays and you get injured, your career can be over, right? And then basically you're on the scrap pile. Right? Yeah, we don't need you no more. Your knee's no good. Thanks, though. So he realizes, these guys gave it their all. Thanks for putting up with me. Oh. So I mean, he's pretty, he's a pretty special guy. And it's nice to see he appreciates his guys. And as I said, I seen him do an article one time talking, or it was on maybe a YouTube video or something, but he was talking about, so-and-so calls me like once a week or every other week or something like that. We talk. He said, oh, that's my guy. So-and-so is my guy and all that and everything. Of course, Lawrence Taylor's his guy. You know what I mean? I mean, they're like Laurel and Hardy, those two guys. I mean, they're funny. He was. I'll tell this, and I'll head on out. He was talking one time. There's a YouTube video, and I seen it. I can't remember whose show. Bill Parcells or Lawrence Taylor were on the show, right? And Bill Parcells was telling stories making fun of Lawrence Taylor, And I said, I can't remember the show it was, but Bill Parcells was sitting in, and this happened in 1981. He got a couple of the facts wrong in this game because he said, and it was 1981. He said we were playing the Cardinals, and he said early in the game, they said that Lawrence Taylor, when he's lined up where he's at, sometimes what they do is they'll take their tight end and they'll move the tight end in front of him. So what happens if it's a passing play? If that tight end goes out, Lawrence is supposed to go on coverage. So they don't want him rushing the quarterback. They don't want, that the other team doesn't want Lawrence rushing the quarterback. So if Lawrence Taylor is like unattended, he has nobody to cover. So Bill Parcells is like, so if you got somebody there, right, in front of you, you drop off into the flat. Because if he's saying like if the tight end does like a curl pattern or something like that, if we got nobody out there, he's like, we're dead, right? So we need, if they shift the tight end in front of you, you got to drop in coverage. And Lawrence Taylor, is, yeah, okay. So I think earlier in the game, what happened was, Lawrence was by himself on the edge, by himself, whatever, and they moved the tight end to his side. So Lawrence is supposed to drop in coverage. Well, they snapped the ball, and the tight end went out, and Lawrence didn't drop in coverage. Lawrence rushed the quarterback, and he sacked the quarterback. So he came off the field, after that, and Bill Parcells is like, what are you doing? Don't you know what you're supposed to do when they move the tight end? You're supposed to drop in coverage. He's like, if they run a curl pattern out there or something like that, he's like, Bill Parcells is like, what the head? And Lawrence Taylor's, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. I'll get it. So the people in the audience were laughing at that and stuff and everything like that. So Bill Parcells is like, so it's later in the game. All right. It's like we got a little bit of a lead. It's like maybe the third or fourth quarter or something like that. Well, the play he's talking about now, it happened, I think it was in the first half. So he had some of the stats of the plays weren't right. His how he explained it wasn't right. The play I'm about to describe happened, I think it was in the first half. So the same thing happened. So Bill Parcells was already yelling at Lawrence Taylor during this game against the Cardinals, because he made a mistake. He's like, he doesn't know what he's supposed to do, So he said, so the same thing happened. He's like, don't you know, same thing happened later on in the game. He said, we're up like about 10 points or something like that, but it's not a safe lead, he said. So don't you know the same thing happens? They move the tight end over, calling pass patterns, a pass play. They move the tight end from, so Lawrence Taylor's supposed to drop into coverage. Same thing happens. He said the tight end ran out in coverage. Lawrence didn't drop in coverage. Lawrence rushed the quarterback once again. He said this time Lawrence Taylor hits the quarterback. I can't remember the guy's name. He rushes the quarterback, sacks the quarterback. Quarterback fumbles the ball. George Martin picks it up and runs in for a touchdown. So he's like, so Lawrence Taylor's like, yeah, what I mean? So Bill Parcells is like, because he's on the sideline. He's the defensive coordinator in 1981. He's not the coach yet. So he's the defensive coordinator. And his star guy out there doesn't know what the heck he's supposed to be doing. So he rushed the quarterback when he's supposed to drop into coverage. He hits the quarterback. He fumbles the ball. George Martin picks it up, runs it in, actually does a finger roll over the goalpost too. So he's like, they're all in the end zone. They're all jumping on top of each other and stuff like that. And Bill Parcells like, the Giants just scored a touchdown. And Bill Parcells has said, he's jumping up and down the end zone. He's like, now I'm mad. And all that. The crowd was like going crazy because they just scored a touchdown. And Bill Parcells is on the sideline being all pissed off. It's like, because he doesn't know, Lawrence Taylor doesn't know what he's supposed to be doing. So then as they're all jumping on top of each other in the end zone, he said they start coming down the sideline, because they start walking down to the sideline, and Bill Parcells is just staring at Lawrence Taylor. And he's like, he gets like right about where that wall is or something like whatever. And Lawrence Taylor looks at me, and he comes walking up to me. He sees I'm staring right at him. And Lawrence walks up to me. He says, I did it again, didn't I? He's like, yeah, you did it again. You don't even know what you're doing. We don't even have what you're doing out there. And then Lawrence Taylor looks at him and says, well, we better put that play in on Monday, coach, because it's a dandy. He's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's on YouTube. But that was 1981 against the Cardinals. They beat the Cardinals in St. Louis, and that was one of George Martin's, I think, 6 touchdowns he returned, like between interceptions and fumbles and all that and everything. But that was Lawrence Taylor was one of Bill Parcells' guy too. But it's just nice to go to show that Bill Parcells got a huge heart, absolutely huge heart. Well, guys, it's been 1 hour and 5 minutes. Jersey guys, as always, good talking to you, brother. Good talking to you. So, whoever spent any time listening to me shoot my mouth off for 1 hour and 5 Thank you. If anybody spends any time watching the replays, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Greatly appreciate it. As always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.